Hello, everybody, and welcome to the WDW Fan Zone Show. I am Stuart Sternberg. I'm joined by Darlene Nagy, Kurt, and welcome back, John Maloney, to the show. It's good to have you back, John. How have you been? Where have you been?
It's good to be back. The extra obligations that I had have come to an end, and I hope to be here on Thursday nights for a good long time.
By the way, did I tell you we're moving the show to a different? No, we're not. We're not. All right. So tonight's topic is we're talking about attractions that need something done to them now. That whether it's a refurbishment, a retheming, a combination of the two, something that will make them work better and make them more relevant for guests. And so it's not going to be every attraction that we're talking about. It's just the few that there are throughout the Disney parks at Walt Disney World. So, John, we're going to give you first crack at this because you're back after a long absence.
And so I can pick any park?
Any park.
Okay.
And you know what? We're going to start with the park that you're in. So whatever park you pick, that's where we're going first.
Oh, okay. Well, I've thought about different attractions in different parks and for different reasons. And one that I am going to propose is a long-term Magic Kingdom attraction, and that's the Tomorrowland Speedway. I mean, the Tomorrowland Speedway has been the same thing for a long time. It's got these gas fume emitting vehicles that are noisy and smelly, and it's good for people that look back on the old Walt Disney World, but it's not really an engaging ride, and it's a kind of ride you can get just about anywhere, the kind of attraction you can get in any park. So I think that it needs a change, with the vehicles, the theming. I do have one suggestion for what they could do, and they've looked at ways to get Wreck-It Ralph into the parks. I think turning that into Sugar Rush and theming it after Wreck-It Ralph could be a lot of fun.
How about Cars from Cars Land?
Just certainly Cars too. Yep.
Yeah.
And there's a way
that could use a lot of sprucing up. Something more than just a couple of signs in the trees. Make it a more engaging attraction.
Yeah, I agree with you. Mm-hmm. And I just want to let the rest of you guys know, if someone gives an attraction and there's nothing else that you can think of in that park, that's okay. We're not trying to go through every single attraction in the parks. We're just trying to do the ones that absolutely need something changed to make it more relevant.
Yeah. He actually stole a lot of mine right there from that attraction, from that park.
Oh, yeah.
Because that track is half the size, literally half the size of what it used to be.
I know.
With the original go-karts, basically, you could make it electric. You could have it with that the batteries are getting charged right up through the ground. So retheme it that way. Even if you want to use that bar that's going in and out, that you're bouncing up, well, careful with that. You don't want to electrocute anybody. But you know what I mean? You can, if we can place an iPhone on something and have it charged, you can do the same thing with these cars, so that we don't have to worry about the car batteries dying out there in the middle of the road. So that, yes, I agree with John wholeheartedly. I don't care if you do it with Candy Crush or whatever. Just
Candy Crush.
I don't care. Whatever it is, I really don't care how you retheme it with Wreck-It Ralph or whatever. Just something else has to be done with that. The other thing that needs to be rethemed, though, it was Stuart's favorite ride over in Tomorrowland.
It's closed right now.
I know. So they need to retheme that into something.
Well, hold on a second. But if it's closed, it doesn't count.
Well, that's a retheming.
Well, it probably will be rethemed at some point.
Okay, sure. Just fix all the triggers in Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin then. Because half of those aren't working right. Fix the targets and fix the triggers and fix the aim so that it actually goes where you're aiming it. Yeah. So those are the only ones I could think of in that area.
Yeah. All right. Darlene.
I'm gonna say the Barnstormer. That ride. I tried riding it again with Sasha and George when they were here. My niece and nephew, and it just wrecks my back. They need to do something with that ride. I can ride Space Mountain without a problem. That needs to be a little bit smoother.
Yeah.
Well, were there any young kids on the ride with you?
Yeah, 2 of them.
What did they think of it?
They thought it was okay. I mean, it was his first time, so he thought it was great. She
Mhm.
was, I don't even know if she remembers it from the first time we took her, but, um, it's just one of those things. I think they need to refurb that one,
All right.
fix the track.
Now, I thought of all the attractions in the Magic Kingdom, and John, you took my number one choice.
Wow.
I don't think there's much to do with any of the other attractions in the
Mm-mm.
parks. However, I'm going to 2 for the price of 1 on this one, and both for the same thing. I think. Oh God, why can't I think of the name of the attraction? It's Carousel of Progress
Carousel Progress.
and Country Bear Jamboree. I want to see them both return to their original form.
I'll
I don't
take
want them-
that.
I don't want them changed, other than returning to what it was when they originally opened. But if I had to pick one from the park, it would definitely be the Speedway.
Well, I had the last scene in Carousel of Progress as well, so I would be good with it going back to its original. I never saw the original last scene.
No.
All right, John, your
Well, yeah.
choice to pick a park again.
I'll pick another park.
This is
Oh
gonna be a
boy.
short show.
Well, I have other ones there too, but
Okay.
so I'm gonna stay away from something that is probably well. I'm gonna move over to Epcot, and I'm not going to pick the attraction that I think is the most obvious. The attraction I'm going to pick, well, I'm sorry, is actually a film. So tell me if I can't do this, but
Yes, I know where you're going, and I agree with you. So go ahead.
well, what I was going to say is Impressions de France. I love.
Oh, that's not where I thought you were going. I thought you
Well,
were going
I
someplace
love
else.
Impressions. I love Impressions de France. I love the music, and I love the video just because you get to see all the sights and it's a lot of fun. But what I don't like is you've got all these people in their 80s attire, and it just looks so dated. So I would love to see them give us a movie that has the same kind of feel, but bring it up to date.
Right.
And hopefully then get more people interested in seeing it. So show us the wonders of France, give people of all ages an interest to visit there, use some stirring music to do it, but let's change that movie.
Kind of like they did with Canada.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
Now, is it a collaboration between Disney and the government to change the movie? And if it is, that could be the sticking point there. Disney's probably saying, let's do it. And France is probably saying, you silly Americans, why are we going to do this for you?
It's who's going to pay for it.
Well, it's who's going to pay for it. And when you think about it, Disney would say, well, why do I want to make a postcard for France and get a lot of tourism for France at my dime? Which it doesn't make sense.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Because guess what? The guests are going to come into Disney World whether they do another movie there or not.
This is true. So I think it's in France's best interest to do that, to help with the funding, and make some suggestions or have input as to the content. So I agree with you. It makes it more of a challenge that way. But me as a guest personally, I'm going to continue to go watch that one, but I'd love to see it updated.
Yeah, I do agree. It does need to be updated. It's not the movie I thought you were going for. But, you know, if the food and the France Pavilion is as good in France as it is there, that's a reason to go to France by itself.
The food in France is good. The food in Paris is
Best
very
chocolate
good.
mousse ever.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Chocolate
disagree.
mousse. Of all things, chocolate mousse he goes for.
I
You couldn't go for
love the
something,
chocolate. I
a nice
love the
pastry
chocolate
or
mousse there.
something.
No, give me that chocolate mousse. I can make a meal out of it.
They have a great restaurant in Pirates of the Caribbean in the Disneyland Paris, similar to how they have
Mhm.
the Blue Bayou in Disneyland is within it. This one's even more embedded within the attraction. You get to see the boats going by in the middle of the attraction. So it's they've got a lot of good food. Certainly not just in Disneyland Paris, but you know, the street cafes and other places as well.
Yeah. All right, Kurt.
Okay, I know it's your favorite napping place, but they got to do something with Ellen's Energy Adventure. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry. I just threw that out. Okay, no, I like I like some things about this attraction, but they got to retheme it a little bit, and that's Test Track. I like that you can design your own car, but I miss the original version of it where you were actually testing the cars out. Now it's this just neon thing where it's just all neon lights, and it's
Yeah.
I don't know. They were going for Flash, and I don't
Yeah,
get
you
it.
know,
I
you
just
know what I
don't
think
get
would
it.
work there? A combination of the original attraction
Right.
and the new version. If they could somehow
Right.
figure out, okay, and I'm sure they've done a lot of marketing on this, what people like and dislike from the original and this, they could come up with a combination of the two.
I agree.
They haven't changed anything that's there. They turned the lights out and put up neon lights.
I like
Get
the
rid
queue
of the
much better
neon.
on the first one until you
Yeah.
get to the point where you're playing around with the cars and building your vehicle.
Yes, I still want to do that, and I like the testing grounds aspect of it.
Yes.
So the only thing we need to bring back is the test dummy. You know, when the test dummy crashes into the wall, and then we go crashing like a test dummy out the door.
Yeah.
Bring that all back. A real truck that we're about to run into, not one that's covered in neon lights.
Yeah, I know. I like that. I like that idea. Very good. Darlene.
So Keith went on for the first time Mission Space. We went on the easy one, of course, because of me.
Green.
Yeah, green. And he said it was quite boring. So he said they need to do something about this.
I'll give you another problem that it has.
100%.
It doesn't leave Earth.
Yeah.
It's called, you know, how do you have Mission Space and not leave Earth?
Mhm.
Right.
What
You never you never leave Earth's atmosphere orbit.
Right.
Yeah.
So is this kind of like the Virgin Airlines version when they went up in the rocket, but they never actually left the atmosphere? They just kind of went along the crest and then came back down?
Did somebody who redid the because the ride which took you out of into space initially, did somebody like think we might upset some aliens out there? We don't want to upset any aliens, so we're not going to leave Earth. And
We don't want to trigger them into attacking us.
Yeah.
Hey, going to Mars is old. God. Let's just circle the Earth as John's blowing stuff up. Somebody upset John. Hey,
yeah,
it's the aliens.
Yes. You know, I've got a couple. You know, I think of all the parks, Epcot is the one I think that has the most attractions that you could pick a number of them out and say, okay, this needs updating or this needs something. And I struggled with these two back and forth between Spaceship Earth, which by and large is a decent attraction. It's just, I hate the ending that's been there for the last several years when they put in, you know, where you're looking at your screens. I want to see more scenes going out of there. It's something. But I'm not going with Spaceship Earth. I think when it comes down to it, because I had to pick what needs more updating than the other. and by far it's Journey to Imagination.
Yes.
Now, before I thought you were going to mention, okay, it's time to the movie and that attraction, the 3D movie. It's time to update that. But Journey to Imagination, it's just like when John Cleese made that movie, he was probably 40 years old. Now he's 90. So it's like, come on, update the attraction already. Bring back, it's great to have Fig, but bring back what's his name?
Dreamfinder.
Yeah, Dreamfinder.
You know why they got rid of Dreamfinder?
Too much money.
He scared little kids. They
Was
said
it
he
money?
scared the little kids. Yeah.
I think you mean Eric Idle.
Yeah, it was Eric Idle. It wasn't John Cleese.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. You're right. You're absolutely right. And Eric Idle, I think, is no longer with us. Or did I kill him off early?
I think you killed him off early.
Let me
And
just
he's
check.
still here.
At the time of this release, I believe
Graham
Eric Idle
Chapman
was
died.
Yes, Graham Chapman died. Eric Idle. Let's see. Is he still alive?
You're going to get hate
Yes.
mail from him.
He is
Yeah.
still alive.
You're going to get hate mail from him now.
He's
There's-
79 years old.
Yeah,
I hope
there's
you
Stuart.
live, Eric, if you're listening to us, I seriously doubt it. I hope you live another 79 years. And I apologize for killing you off. No, we don't want to kill Eric Idle off. I love Monty Python.
I would love to see them, like you're saying, retheme, because the track is still back there, from what I
Yep.
understand. So retheme that, and then again attach it somehow to the 3D movie. So
Yeah.
retheme it and have it just continue to the movie itself.
I always thought that would be a great spot for the Muppet 3D movie. Because that movie's timeless. But if they could create something that's timeless like Muppet Vision 3D and put that there, it would be great. And I think you're right. They need to connect the two dots between the attraction and the movie.
Mhm.
And I think they will have an enormously popular attraction there.
Because what's in it? It's just Mickey. Is it Mickey shorts, or
Shorts.
is it,
Yeah.
or is it Pixar shorts? Because it was Pixar shorts.
The last
Pixar
time I was
shorts.
there was Mickey Shorts, but that could have
No,
changed.
Mickey Shorts is in Disney Hollywood Studios.
Well, there's just the
Darling.
one movie.
Darling, do you remember what was there? Because when I saw some, there was a Mickey short that was on
I-
Disney Plus, by the way.
I thought that
I
when we
think
interviewed
it was a
Christine,
Mickey.
Yeah.
I think it was a Mickey.
I think when we talked to Christine, she said it was Mickey shorts. That's why I
Mhm.
was asking about
Okay.
that.
Well,
Yeah.
that has changed since I was there. My mistake.
I
No,
won't be
okay.
going back
Well,
to the park for Epcot until
I'll
the
be at
first
Epcot
week of
next.
May.
I'll be at Epcot next week one day. I think.
Research trip.
Yes, I'll be at Epcot one day next week. So
Yeah.
I'll if I walk by there, I'll take a look. I don't want to look it up online because it may not have the right information anyway. If somebody knows out there who's been to the parks very, very recently, please let us know.
And a polite comment.
Yeah. That what you just said now is the reason I hardly go on social media anymore. It's I just can't stand the misinformation and the blatant disregard and disrespect of people. But anyway,
Mhm.
I digress.
Moving on.
Yes, let's move on. Where are we going to now, John? There's only 2 parks left.
Only 2 parks left. What was the movie you thought that I? Was
Where
it-
they're playing the shorts now, because before that,
Okay. As
Honey,
part
I
of the
Shrunk the Audience. What was the
Yeah,
one with Michael
yeah.
Jackson.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to. I have a couple of choices in Animal Kingdom, and boy, it's a tough one. But so I think what I'm going to say in the Animal Kingdom is Rafiki's Planet Watch or Affections Section or whatever it's called anymore.
Affectionation Station or whatever.
There's not a good reason. I shouldn't say there's not a good reason. Taking the train can be fun,
Yeah, it can be.
but it just seems like it's so disconnected, and it's an afterthought for people to go there. So I like the idea of seeing what goes on behind the scenes and learning a little bit, but
There's a petting zoo there.
yeah, but it's so disconnected. I would like to see it be more connected to the rest of the park.
Well, John, I'm going to disagree with you on this one because I think for someone who's got young children, and especially preschoolers, I think the petting zoo is something that's very well connected to the rest of the park and something that parents with young children are definitely going to want to do.
Yeah. Well, I'm not against the petting zoo, but the fact that you have to get on a train and you have to travel to get there, and not that I'm fine with the train, but it's
There's not
so much
enough
of
to
an
do
effort.
there.
Correct.
There's just not enough to do there.
And for the amount of time you have to invest to get there and back. So I think if it was more connected to the rest of the park, people would go there more readily.
Well, what do you think they could do to bring people in to that
Well,
section of the park? And then wouldn't it get overcrowded like every place else in Disney World right
well,
now?
you know what? They need the space though. I think they need to distribute people better. And I haven't been there recently, so I can't say how well distributed people are in that area of the park right now.
I haven't been there in months, but the last time I was there was hardly anybody there.
Right.
That's
So
our point.
my
Yeah.
sense is it's
There was all little
not
kids, as a matter of
not
fact.
a good distribution. So if there were some additional attraction there, if you've got the petting zoo and you've got an additional attraction there, or maybe a restaurant, you could make better
Restaurant would
use
be
of
good.
it, and maybe find a way to still keep the train to make that an additional attraction or something like that. But it's just always been so disconnected, not as well attended, and an effort to go there to me.
I think that would be a good place to have a character sit-down restaurant.
That would be good.
Yeah, that would
Interesting.
definitely bring the people there.
Interesting fact. If it's true, I heard a rumor that the train that takes you out there is the train that used to go around Fort Wilderness. Is one of those trains. If that's true, that's an interesting fact. I don't know if it's true though.
Yeah,
It's definitely a rethemed train, that's for sure.
Right.
So I'm going to Asia because Cali River Rapids is nowhere near what it used to be. The truck is gone. That was all about deforestation and learning, what can happen with the mudslides and everything else when you start to take things away. I mean, my favorite place to go when I used to go to Michigan all the time was to Silver Lake Sand Dunes. And the whole reason why we have all those dunes is because of the Chicago fire. When the Chicago fire hit, they went over, they deforested that entire area, and now it's all dunes. So it kind of learned that too. But the truck that used to fall down in the water, that's gone. The flames that were coming out all over the place, that's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just on a boat, on a raft, going back and forth. And when you say, what did you learn? Nothing.
Yeah.
I learned the person that next to me got soaked, and I'm perfectly dry.
Yeah.
Do you think they could or should do something to remove some of the soaking that goes on?
Oh no, not that at all. Well, except for the silly. If I'm going to get wet, I want to get wet from the ride, not from the silly elephants that are up above that the people are squirting you with. But I'd like to see you get. I don't mind you getting wet because we're riding when it's like 90 plus degrees outside, so that doesn't faze me at all. I want it to come back where I want to see the truck back over there. I want to feel the flames coming off of there. And right now, it's nothing there. It's all gone. They just took it out.
Yeah. But certainly does not seem to get the riders anywhere near when it first opened.
Well, for a while there, especially during the beginning of COVID, when you got to the top of the ramp, there was that jet that went straight up and then it disappeared. And then as soon as your boat went over the top of it, it started spraying again and it doused the person next, over the top. That jet was turned off. I don't know if it's been turned back on yet or not.
So, I have not been on that attraction in 15 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time for me too.
Yeah, Keith and I rode it once, and that was it.
I went on it once. Was disappointed that nobody in my party got wet. Haven't been back since.
This
And I don't mean me getting wet. I meant I wanted someone in my party to get wet. They did not.
the person on this side gets wet, and usually somehow it works out. The person on this side gets wet just from bouncing around back and forth. And one got wet from that water coming up over the top, and the other one got wet when it spun around, and they're the ones that fell over the waterfall and got soaked.
Yeah. All right, Darlene.
Okay. Well, Kelly River Rapids, I was just hoping maybe they would do something different with that. And the Rafiki's Planet Watch. I really don't have anything else that I want fixed besides the Yeti to work.
Well, you know what? I haven't been in there since they refurbished it. So has anybody heard from anyone? Did they do anything with the Yeti? Did
It
they
wasn't
paint
open. It hasn't been open yet, I don't
It
think.
reopened. Yeah, it reopened this past week.
Oh, then I have not been on it yet.
I have not heard of a Yeti sighting.
Yeah,
we would have all heard. We would have all heard. That would have been front-page news if they did anything with the Yeti.
Yeah.
Well, with everything else that's going on in this part of Florida right now, I think the Yeti is not top of the list. Although Disney might want to take that Yeti, make it mobile, and go someplace where it could do a little damage.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not suggesting that.
No, not at all.
No. All right. You know what? Dinosaur. I love.
I knew it.
And here we go again, where I'm going to just say, I wish they would return it to the original
Countdown to Extinction.
The pre-show needs to be changed. You need an updated pre-show. Like, you know, give me something that is in the late 2000s, not the early 90s.
No, it was late 90s. 98 it opened.
You're right, 98. I'm sorry. I apologize. Late 90s. Yeah, give me some from the late 2000s. Update that pre-show. Put the ride back to where it was. Let that dinosaur get in everybody's face.
Let him roar.
Jesus out of all the 2-year-olds. So,
yep. Stuart, if you had not chosen that, I would have been disappointed because I knew you were going there.
I was actually going to go with another attraction, but it's too new to go with it because I think that attraction should be shut down and shot.
Oh.
Kite Tails.
Oh.
Kite Tails is the, you know what? If you're a dog that will chase anything, it's a great show. But for a little kid that likes to play with pots and pans, that's more exciting than watching those kites.
I don't know. My friends, like, while they were sitting there just resting in the shade, they said it was kind of fun to watch because they had nothing else going on.
Yeah, you know, if you're looking to take a break from the crowds, it's good. But the show itself, and you know, I give credit to all the people that are performing in there. They're giving it their all. They're great performers. I just don't think it's an attention holder.
It's a stopgap.
But I didn't mean, right, exactly. It is a stopgap. But I didn't mean to use that or criticize it, even though I did. So.
Well,
I have not seen it yet.
Yeah. I haven't either.
They've changed it, and since I've even seen it last. They're now doing more shows that are less. More frequent shows that are less in the timeline.
They're shorter.
Yeah, and it's going around the entire. I forgot the name of the lagoon or river there, whatever it is.
That area where they used to put the show on.
Yeah.
That is not to be named anymore.
Yeah, there's more sight lines now for guests to see it.
Right.
All right, John, take us to Disney's Hollywood Studios.
Oh boy, I have 4 choices here, and what do I want to stir things up with? So, and we've talked about this before, and it's a show that is near and dear to my heart. But even being so, I don't go to it typically anymore, and that's Beauty and the Beast live on stage. Beauty and the Beast is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love the music, but I have to say that to me, the costumes are, you know, outdated and a little and just too campy and cheesy, too cartoony. And I don't know whether it's a new show. Maybe it is. As much as I like Beauty and the Beast, love Beauty and the Beast. My guess is for more interest from the guests, they probably need to go to a whole new show.
If they just changed the costumes and brought them into this century, I don't know, not really this century, but if they just made them more appealing.
More Broadway quality. They have the goofy looking costumes that make it look like the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
No, I shouldn't say the cartoon, but the original animated feature, instead of something that is more contemporary theater.
Right, if they put the costuming in that they had in the movie, not the
live action movie,
the live action movie.
The live action movie or the Broadway theater show.
Would that be sufficient for you, or do you want to see just a new show?
Well, I think it would be sufficient for me, but I think for the guests in general, they want to see something new. So, and I'm not.
Did you say they want to see something nude?
Come on now.
I'm sure there's a lot of people that would want to see something like Encanto or something that is more contemporary, up to date. Something where people love the musical, love the music, love the characters. Something colorful. So it wouldn't be what I would necessarily think of first, but I think a more contemporary movie of Disney's that they could bring theatrically to the stage.
Not a new movie, but Tangled from the Disney Magic cruise ship. That would be awesome.
That would be great too. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's so hard because when you're talking about who they're aiming at, I mean, a lot of people think, oh, Tangled and like Frozen are they, as far as they're concerned, oh man, that's an old movie. So when we're talking about Beauty and the Beast, they're like, oh my God, when was that? That was like ages ago. So it's just so old, and that's why they want something new.
Yeah.
I'm afraid if they put Tangled in within 5 to 10, well, not that Beauty and the Beast is that much older than Tangled. I guess it is, but
it is.
That's true. So within a few years, though, I'm afraid Tangled are going to go. They need something more contemporary in here.
But wouldn't Disney?
But I love Tangled.
So do I. Wouldn't Disney be better off changing the shows every 5 years anyway?
I would go with you there.
Mm-hmm. I would too.
As much as I love the show, look, I love The Lion King. I'm glad Nemo's getting changed a little bit, but they're keeping Nemo. Love Beauty and the Beast. Mm-hmm. But I would not be upset if they changed the shows every 5 years. I'd be fine with it.
That'd be good.
That works.
It's not like the theater. I mean, the theater's named Beauty and the Beast live on stage, but the theater itself is not necessarily themed to Beauty and the Beast. You wouldn't have to change that a lot.
I mean, there's so many things they can do. Moana's one. I mean, just to name one, you mentioned Encanto. There's so many.
Well, so here's an idea for you. What if you had 2 or 3 shows playing in there at different times during the day? It's going to cost Disney more, but I think you're going to get more people going there because some people would want to go see Moana. Some people would want to go see Encanto. Some people would, if you had Tangled or whatever, you'd spread it out a little bit more, and it would have more repeat viewers because of the choices.
With your, I was going to say Broadway background, but let's say with your off-Broadway background.
Nobody's paid me a nickel.
Could they do that? Have enough set designs there that they could change them out?
It's you need to have the investment. You need to have they can work a way. The people that design these sets are very artistic and intelligent.
They are.
So, yeah, it is going to take more effort, and they're going to be challenges. So you've got to have a cast, either a cast that learns 3 different shows, which is not typical, or you've got multiple casts. So I think it's going to incur more cost, and it's going to have some challenges around it, logistical challenges around it. But I like the concept of doing that.
Here's where I'm playing devil's advocate on John with that. He just said usually a cast doesn't learn 3 different ones. Now they're going to have 3 different casts. Those casts are paid per performance. So they're not going to want to only do 1 performance. They want to make more money to do all 3 performances or 4 performances. So to have 4 different, if you're doing 4 different shows, 4 different casts, none of those casts are making very much money. The turnaround's going to be huge because they're not going to want to do it because they just can't afford to live on only working once a day.
There's
2,
one. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
2, the second problem with that is I wanted to go to the 9 o'clock show. Well, whatever time, the 10 o'clock showing. I can't go to the 10 o'clock showing because it's full. I'll come back for the noon showing. I can't because it's not being shown at noon. So now I'm stuck watching a show that I didn't want to watch instead. On and on and on and on all the way through.
And if they put it on Genie Plus, you're really screwed.
You're right. So, but you're going to have some people that and if one cast is better than the other cast, you're even building more of a mess because then it's, well, this show always sells the place to a show sold out show. However, this show, we can't even get people to come in here for standing on the streets going, come on, let's come watch. I don't know what we're watching. Goofy, Barnstormer. Whatever.
I think there are ways. I think there are ways to do it where if you balance things properly, and I think you could have one cast do multiple shows. If you're on a Disney cruise ship, when we did the Marvel Day at Sea, those entertainers, you had entertainers that would have been doing. Well, they do multiple shows. They do 3 shows.
They
Disney
do.
All the same cast in the same cruise. So
Yeah.
there are entertainers that are used to doing that. And I wouldn't do 4 shows. And maybe the sweeter spot is 2 instead of 3, but there are ways to make that happen, I think.
Yeah, but John, just to Kurt's point, on a ship, the cast is stuck there. They can't say, I quit, I'm leaving.
You get, I mean, I get it if you want to alternate shows every other show.
Yeah, they can do that.
But even then,
well, you can have understudies too.
Right. Well, that's true too. I still go back to the I mean, look at the Lion King. What if the Lion King all of a sudden said, we're going to show this other show too? There'd be an outcry of, I don't want this other show. I want the Lion King show. Because I want to see my Tumble Monkeys, which are coming back.
It's a different show. It wouldn't work with the Lion King.
I think you've got a better opportunity with Beauty and the Beast because it's been there so long, and we're talking about freshening that up. This would be the right time to do that, as compared to the Lion King that's already had some updates. It's got a new theater, and it has a better draw now than Beauty and the Beast does.
Oh, it does.
Yep.
That wasn't the show I thought you were going towards, though. I personally, am I next? I couldn't remember.
Yes, you're next.
The show I thought you were going towards was the Indiana Jones stunts.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
It's on my list. I had to pick one.
Oh, yeah, good call. Well, thank you for saving this one for me, because this really hey, keep the Indiana Jones franchise. I have no problem with that. But can we freshen up the show? I mean, I feel like if I wore a Hawaiian shirt in there, I'd accidentally be called to be the stunt man that's like the actual stunt man. So it's been the same show since it opened. They've never done any editing to that. And while it was down for all that time because of
perfect opportunity,
something that was, shutting everything down for a while, then we weren't allowed to, they had time to go in there and work on it. They may not have had the money, but they had the time.
Yeah, they definitely had the time.
They spend less. They don't have to spend the money, and it swallows crowds. And so there's so much.
But is it the right attraction to swallow a crowd? Because, you have, let's say you have families that are there that have never been to Walt Disney World, and they're young families. Forget the kids. The parents may not have seen the Indiana Jones movies. And they be like, okay, what is this?
The last Indiana Jones movie was not the best movie, too. So,
well, until such time as people don't attend it, and until such time as it doesn't swallow crowds,
Got a
then
point.
Disney's
not gonna
not
change it.
going to spend the time on it or the
Yeah, we've
cost.
said that with other attractions
You know
too.
what would go great there? And I know it's not part of Star Wars Land, but a Star Wars themed show that would gobble up. Every seat would be taken in that place.
Yeah,
Like the
you're not
Christmas
wrong.
special.
The Star Wars Christmas.
Yeah, in
And
August.
apparently it never happened. I don't know. I've seen interviews with Harrison Ford. He doesn't know what you're talking about. So apparently she was never here. Pay no attention to the empty screen.
For those of you watching us on YouTube, Darlene frequently disappears. So
I believe the dog needed a little.
we've been trying to get her to disappear more, but it's not working.
Oh man. But yeah, John is absolutely right. It's not going to go anywhere because the theater is filling up because it was missing for 2 years. So when it came back, everyone's like, "Yay, let's run back and see it again." But
well,
I agree with
new guests that haven't been there recently or in a long time or at all, they're just going to go in anyway.
Now, is it
They
filling
want
up?
a place to sit down, get out of the sun.
That's what I was trying to get to. Is it filling up?
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Is it filling up because guests are trying to find a place to go because everything else has an hour wait or more?
I think that's
Could
a
be.
lot of
Or are
it.
they going there because it's something they heard is good and they want to enjoy it?
hey, there's long lines everywhere. I paid how much to get into this park? I'm going to get into as many attractions as I can. I can get into this one. Here I am. I'm going in.
You know, what happened to Disney's theory? If it ain't broke, fix it anyway if you can make it better. Now it's, if it ain't broke, why fix it?
Well, that's the other place I was going to go with it, since we're stalling a little bit because so whatever. It already in Batu, I was disappointed the last time I walked through. Even in Rise of the Resistance, people are peeling and picking off the wall, and you're seeing the plaster underneath at places.
No, that's not right.
And I saw it there, and I really saw it over at not Rise of the Resistance. What's the other one? The Millennium Falcon.
Smuggler's Run.
Smuggler's Run. And I'm like, they used to go through daily and patch that, or at least make note of it, so it could get patched up, as soon as they could.
Mhm.
And it doesn't take much. Little patch, let it dry, touch it up with some paint. It looks better than just white that's been peeled back from something that's aged to look like it's old. You can tell it's.
Yeah.
I just wish they would have patched it more often.
Yeah, they should be doing that. Why they're not, I don't know.
Money.
Yeah, well, that's usually the root of all. All right, Darlene.
Well, Indiana Jones was my pick as well. So, I mean, basically, I think it needs to maybe change it up somehow, do something.
Yeah. Boy, yeah, Indiana Jones would have been my pick also. By far. I mean, there's really not much in Disney's Hollywood Studios I would change. I mean, I understand, John, where you're coming from with Beauty and the Beast. I don't have a problem changing the show, fixing it up, new costumes. I would have gone with Indiana Jones. I just think it's long past due that something new. Think about how many people that theater gobbles up. You put something new in there, and yes, I know it's getting packed now, but the excitement it would generate to that park, that park needs more excitement.
I was going to say.
But since I have to pick something else, or if I had to pick something else, I would say Fantasmic, but we don't know what it's going to be like when it comes back because they are making changes.
They are making changes.
Yeah.
Do we know what's going on with Ariel? Do we know what's going on with Ariel's adventure?
I keep hearing it's coming back, but when?
Yeah, that's another one that could use another show, use an update, whatever. I mean, it's really stood the test of time, but it needs a refreshing.
Time for a change. But what makes no sense to me is if the reason that I've heard is because of the pandemic that it hasn't come back. Well, if you can hug a character now, you can bring back Little Mermaid.
You can ride the buses without a mask. You can go on the monorail without a mask.
Yeah, that's true.
But it also needs, cast members, performers, so they have to have enough entertainers.
How many months have I had to bring them back and get them ready?
Well, and even the college kid, sometimes it's the college kids doing that, isn't it?
I'm not sure of that.
The college program?
I don't know. They don't pay the college program kids.
Yeah.
Not very much. They pay them some, but not very much.
Yeah, I don't think they're having them do that, but I don't know.
It doesn't make sense to me, but I don't know.
You'd have to replace them every semester, roughly. Because I think that's what that college program, unless they sign on to do a second.
Darlene disappeared again. Now, Darlene has 2 dogs. They must be barking. Her husband goes to sleep early because he has to wake up early for work. So she's probably trying to get them before they get to Keith and wake him up. Is that probably correct, true. Darlene? Darlene,
you're still on mute.
Right. I have a sick dog.
Oh, sorry to hear.
No, that's okay. So I'm running between here and there.
Yeah. Well, it makes for a little more exciting show for those watching us on YouTube.
It does.
For those who are listening to us, they have no idea what's going on.
They knew I was holding him, and normally when he doesn't feel well, he comes.
The people listening to the show knew you were holding the dog.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so, his little head was going up and down
as they were listening. You should have. Yes. But you missed. John did He did a whole Beauty and the Beast performance for us while you were gone.
Well, but Darlene, the people listening to the show can't see you holding the dog going up.
Yeah.
The people watching us on YouTube can.
I know.
All right. Of all the attractions we've mentioned, which one do you think is the most in need of something?
I would say that Tomorrowland Speedway.
I would say Affectionation Station. Planet Rafiki.
John.
Boy, there's so many different perspectives to look at this from. And I don't disagree with either of those. I think my personal preference at this time is the same as Darlene, the Tomorrowland Speedway.
Yeah, I agree with Darlene too on that one as well. Tomorrowland and expand it back to where it was. It's just too short.
Where?
Yeah, I know.
We got the light cycles coming in right now. What do you do? Let's have the cars go run underneath the light cycles. There we go.
I know. Unless they could somehow do it on 2 different levels where you're going up and down in loops, but that's not going to happen.
I think they're worried about protein spillage coming off of the light cycle down onto the. Because they say you can incorporate them somehow and had like the light cycle cars underneath of there with them going around, maybe, but you're not going to go underneath of those things.
No.
Personal belongings falling off, a phone falling off and landing on that track.
Yeah.
I don't.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, I don't know when it's going to happen, but apparently Tomorrowland is on a list of things to be refurbished itself, the entire land. How they're going to do it, I don't know. It could be just a paint job, but I have heard that. I'm not trying to spread rumors here.
No, I've heard that for a couple of years now. You're right. It's just it's not at the top of their list because it's still popular.
Yeah,
exactly.
They can't close a whole land down either, or even parts of it.
No, they used to do that work in the quiet time of year, and then they got rid of the quiet time of year.
Yeah. They also used to do things overnight, and they still do, but not as
much.
One thing, Darlene, did you notice this too at the Flower and Garden? When they were first setting it up, they were doing it during the day when guests are walking by, when that used to be done in the middle of the night when no one was around.
Right.
Yep. Yes, it was.
I have.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you guys want to discuss? There is something I want to discuss before we get out of here.
What about Swish Family Treehouse? Not very popular.
I have
You know, if that got chopped
there
down, I
in
wouldn't care.
a long time.
Yeah,
My
me
son and
too.
I went up there last time, literally to just take pictures of the castle.
Yeah,
Well,
you know,
it
I wouldn't
doesn't.
care if they got rid of that.
It doesn't have a big footprint,
No, it doesn't.
No.
so there's very little you could put in there. Maybe you could open
Right.
up a Treehouse restaurant or something. I don't know, but
But there's
Or-
no elevator to the top. So
Or
Right,
lightning lane to watch the fireworks from.
oh, there you go.
yeah, there you go.
Right?
I
It's
can
gonna
see
be the
that
next
as some
thing on Genie Plus is a spot on the Treehouse to watch the fireworks.
It's some Disney executive taking notes. Okay, let's see. Add lightning. Swiss, yeah, add it to the lightning lane. We can make money off of this. They're
A
gonna
zip
promote
line.
me.
A zip line going over the top of the Jungle Cruise, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And back.
There you go.
Anyway, I did want to bring something up. ADRs have not come back. That's advanced dining reservations. Do we see them coming back at all, if ever, or when you guys might think they'd come
Wait,
back?
advanced
What do you
dining,
mean?
or are you talking about dining, the dining plan? Because
Dining
ADR.
Sorry, the
plan.
dining plan. I'm sorry, the dining
Yeah.
plan.
I have an ADR when I'm down.
I
dining
know.
plan.
I'm like, no, wait, no,
Yeah,
no.
I meant the dining
I've got
plan.
one tomorrow.
I don't think the dining
Yeah,
plan. I
sorry.
don't know if the dining plan will come back.
I'm a little.
That I don't know.
I meant the dining plan.
And are you talking about the free dining plan or any
No,
dining?
no. Just
There's
the
no
dining.
dining plan.
Any dining plan.
Right now, there's
I
nothing back.
I don't think it's going to come back until the restaurant situation is more stable. With
Yeah, well, they have to hire more people.
Right.
And I'm sure they're
having
trying.
enough staff, and
Yeah.
it's just not stable enough yet, I don't think.
I agree with that, but I'm not sure they're going to be so fast to bring that back, even once they get the restaurants up to full capacity, where they can't get them up to full capacity.
Mm.
I just wonder what's taking so long to hire the staff. Is it that difficult to hire the staff? Maybe it's people that just don't want to work, with the public because they've, all the fears that we've had from the pandemic.
Is it that, or are they trying to keep their costs down? Because they're not making much money.
Or are they not paying wait staff enough?
Well, that's the thing. I think the economics continue to evolve. The wages are going up, in that area for Disney's competitors, and so that just keeps the staffing levels a little bit off balance, I think. So until they can get some stability there, they're not. Everybody, all the employers are faced with how do they have the level of staff that they need.
Yeah.
Where my son works, unrelated to Disney at all, where my son works, they're still not open. They're only open till 10 o'clock. They used to be open till midnight. They are still only open till 10 o'clock, and it's a staffing issue, from what I understand. So,
and there are many reasons for staffing issues right now, especially at Disney. Yeah, we'll see. I think it'll be at least another year before we even start hearing things.
It's not necessary at this point in time. I mean, we see how in demand the available slots are at the restaurants.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
we heard firsthand how some of the restaurants, there's a lot of open tables because they're not staffed enough.
Yeah. And you know what? As long as the parks are, I'm going to say, as close or at capacity as they are, there's no reason to bring it back, because that was something they would, offer guests to add to their package. And I'm not talking about the free dining, but to add to their package as a way to give them, like something else to choose from. But they might have to work through Genie Plus and everything too, because if they keep moving, and Lightning Lane, if they keep moving Lightning Lanes and it's interfering with people's reservations, that's a problem. They haven't perfected that yet.
That is an issue.
Right.
There you go.
So I don't know if I explained that well. It's sometimes I talk quicker than my thoughts going through my head.
The dining plan definitely made them money because there were several people
Absolutely.
that weren't. I mean, and my son was just here. My son, when we used the dining plan years ago, and we went and saw the Hoop-de-Doo review. So it's 2 meals for the Hoop-de-Doo review. And my son literally ate a bowl of Cheerios. That was it.
They made money.
That was an expensive meal for your son, or 2 meals.
You got that right. I'm like, eat something. And
I don't care about it. Shove it down your throat. You're eating this pork
too
chop.
hot. At the time, we didn't realize anxiety issue, just overwhelmed with things. We're just like, you know what? Is this really, wouldn't we be better off just paying this a la carte and getting what we want instead of doing a dining plan that you're pretty much set. You have to go and use it. If you don't want to use it,
Yeah, I think one of the big things or reasons people use the dining plan in the past was to save them
paying cash
time and having to pay it out of pot. It just gets added to your bill and you're done.
That's why Keith and I used it.
Yeah, us too.
Keith and I found that it was easier to prepay and have set, a set idea of what we were going to eat and where we were eating and be able to get the food.
Yeah. But it got to be such a headache because you wanted to eat at Cinderella Castle or Beast Castle, and you couldn't get in, and you had to go and eat at insert front Tony's Town Square, because that's all that was available. And people used to get mad about that. It's people that didn't set up the dining plan right or didn't know that they had to do their dining. Was it 90 days out at one point? They just didn't know, so they didn't book it. I think it's 60 days now, but at one point it was 90 days out, and people are like 90 days. So they had no idea because they were booking. They were booking their. Now, if someone does that, it's like, come on, it's just not going to work.
Kurt, we're losing your audio again a little bit.
Yeah, you froze up on me too.
Yeah, I just I don't foresee it coming back anytime.
No, I don't
in the near future.
I don't either. I did want to bring that up because it's not something I wanted to dedicate a whole show to. I thought it would be like a 5-minute conversation, and it pretty much was.
Sorry.
All right. That's all I've got for this week. Anybody else want to add anything? Otherwise, let's let the people get back to what they were doing before they decided.
Oh, wait. There's something you didn't something you didn't address during the show tonight.
What didn't I address during the show?
Oh, Becky would be so disappointed.
Oh yeah.
He is asleep tonight. Sorry, everyone.
Don't apologize for me. Well, what can I tell you that you don't already know? Well, if you don't already know, you should know about this, and that's Mouse Fan Travel. They are absolutely the best there is, was, and will ever be when it comes to planning a Walt Disney World vacation. So whether you want to go to Disneyland, Disney World, take a Disney cruise, an adventure by Disney, or even if you don't want to go on a Disney vacation, you can do something else. Mouse Fan Travel's got experts in everything you can think of when it comes to the travel industry. No one, and I mean no one, services their clients better than Mouse Fan Travel. If you want to go on the best vacation of your life, go with the best when it comes to planning travel. And you can find out more about them and all their wonderful and great discounts by going to www.mousefantravel.com. That is www.mousefantravel.com. Okay, that's it for us. Back next week with our news edition earlier in the week and another rendition of Beauty and the Beast later in the week. No. So until next time, everybody be safe. Bye-bye.
Good night, everybody.
I feel so bad about offering up Beauty and the Beast tonight, but I still think that it is a tale as old as time, song as old as rhyme, Beauty and the Beast. So thank you for listening to our tale, and we hope to see you next time.
Have a magical night. Stay safe and think positive thoughts.